In Indian folklore, not all spirits are terrifying. Meet Betaal, a ghost who challenges minds with riddles. Unlike typical phantoms, Betaal is a guide and storyteller, bound to a corpse with glowing eyes and a voice echoing ancient wisdom. His tales are puzzles wrapped in human emotion and moral dilemmas, using logic and dharma to engage listeners. The legend of Betaal is tied to King Vikramaditya, a symbol of righteousness and justice. A sorcerer tasked the king to capture Betaal from a haunted forest, unaware of the profound journey ahead. This was no ordinary ghost hunt. It was a battle of wits across 25 tales. The forest was filled with magic and illusion, but Vikramaditya, driven by purpose, was ready to face Betaal. He ventured into darkness, setting the stage for tests that would define his legacy and reveal Betaal's true nature. Betaal's stories were not just entertainment, they were lessons in justice and morality. The king's quest was a journey of intellect and spirit, guided by the clever ghost. King Vikramaditya, armed with intellect, ventured into the forest, reaching a banyan tree with Betaal hanging upside down. With courage, he cut down the corpse and began the journey back, as Betaal came to life proposing a deal. Betaal would tell stories, ending with riddles, testing the king's understanding of justice. The rules were simple: answer correctly, and Betaal escapes. Stay silent, and the king's head shatters. This cycle of capture, story, and escape tested the king's patience and perseverance. Vikramaditya had to balance his duty to answer with his mission to deliver Betaal. Each story was a mental battlefield, weighing knowledge against the ultimate goal. The king's quest was a test of character, where silence was both a strategy and a risk. Betaal's riddles were more than brain teasers, they were examinations of the king's soul. The journey was a profound spiritual test, with Betaal as both adversary and guide. Betaal, a master storyteller, used tales to explore human nature and moral dilemmas. His stories were mirrors reflecting society's virtues and flaws, challenging the king's wisdom. Betaal respected Vikramaditya's intelligence, their interactions more lessons than battles. The ghost's riddles delved into dharma, testing the king's understanding of righteousness. Vikramaditya found an intellectual equal in Betaal, realizing the quest was a spiritual journey. Betaal was a guide, leading the king through ethical dilemmas, sharpening his judgment. The stories prepared Vikramaditya for a final test, deciding the fate of his kingdom. The king's journey was not just about fulfilling a promise, but understanding deeper truths. Betaal's riddles were masterclasses in ethical reasoning, exploring dharma's complexities. They forced Vikramaditya to navigate conflicting principles, reflecting real decisions a king faces. Stories challenged social norms and logical reasoning, requiring fair and balanced judgments. Betaal tested the king's character, judging his wisdom and compassion. Each correct answer demonstrated mastery of justice, each escape an opportunity to learn. The journey was a pilgrimage of the mind, revealing justice in gray areas. Betaal taught that laws must be applied with understanding of human context and intention. Vikramaditya was forged into a ruler whose presence upheld cosmic order and justice. After 24 cycles, Vikramaditya faced the final journey, answering every riddle with clarity. Betaal's last story was about betrayal and sacrifice, ending with a perplexing riddle. The king remained silent, understanding the sorcerer's dark plan to sacrifice him. Betaal's stories were warnings, preparing the king for the ultimate confrontation. By staying silent, Vikramaditya broke the cycle, learning true wisdom lies in knowing when not to speak. Betaal revealed his true identity as a celestial being, cursed until a worthy king uncovered the sorcerer's plot. The king's silence broke the spell, rendering the sorcerer vulnerable. Guided by Betaal, Vikramaditya defeated the sorcerer, ending his reign of terror. Freed from his ghostly form, Betaal blessed the king for his wisdom and perseverance. The story teaches that appearances can deceive, and the darkest ordeals can lead to enlightenment.